Okay, welcome guys. Welcome guys. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Welcome all the YouTube family. Welcome all my students as you get in. So we've just had the US news come out. Okay. We're going to take a look at that news and see what's going on. Now I'm taking USD CHF short. It's based on a very simple H4 movement from this order block here. Now the blue lines, or green lines actually, the green lines represent the hourly zone, but I used the H4 because it was a lot easier. Very simple trade. I used the M5 to get in, and I used the M1 just to monitor the price. So the monitoring of the price on the M1 was from this zone here. It's the only one we needed. My aim was to put a second entry over here, but I didn't even see the necessity on that. So I'm watching that. How much pips is it to the current SL? So this the stop loss. I think my stop loss is wide. It should be here really. The stop loss is 0.90930. That's where it should be actually. I don't know why it's higher. I'm using the M1 zone to manage it, and this is just going to keep on dropping. So if you want to get an entry in, well, watch for the price, what it does. Price is still kind of making its way on the downside. It's not done yet, but remember the target I told you guys, we have a liquidity gap on USD CHF, which needs to be filled out, and the liquidity gap is right here. Okay. Now, when I told you about this trade, guys, the target for this trade, or the target we're going for, you know what, you can widen your stop loss a little bit to about 979 if you want, just for the meantime, and just let this run down. It's a very low risk trade, but there's a liquidity gap here on the 30 minutes, guys, and then after there's a liquidity pool right here. So my targets for this trade is down here. I expected to get there. Now I wanted to put 2 entries on because I know that would have helped, but I wasn't so fast with doing it. So, but the price is dropping as it should do, and this is the target really that I'm going for. So once that hits the target, that would have been great. I think I should have just put 2 on there, but sometimes I think I get too hesitant, which is not good. If you hesitate for too long, then it doesn't help. But I just want to show you guys the news. Let me see if I can pull up FX Street from here. Let me pull this up for you guys to see. Okay, but in the meantime, we should see this. This is temporal. I told you that they would find a way to cause the US dollar to have a bit of a weakening for the while before it picks up again in strength. And we've got a good reasoning right here. This is one of the biggest reasons that they would push the price short after such a strong long. They do need to fill this gap, which means that gold should be a long for us to take in a moment. The price has already gone way past that area now. I was watching this because I could have put a nice flip zone entry from here, but I wasn't watching this. But we could have got a flip zone from here back up on the long side. This would have been great because almost 200 pips. But gold isn't done going long yet. From what I can see here, what I made, I'm just gonna have to use a very simple H4 or something to take this. But we'll see what happens. Let me pull up the internet so that we can see what's happened with the news compared to what we have and if there's any more news. So pull up the browser here. But in the meantime, guys, anyway, um, we've had movements across all boards. There is an opportunity to take gold for a long from a very tiny zone here, potentially right here. So I might actually just take this as a flip zone trade here and just put a very small position on gold. The price has spiked into here, but it hasn't taken off just yet. So as soon as it does take off to that degree, then we can access that trade. So let me go to let me get here. I'm just going to put an alert here. And since gold is going long the way it is, then I expect gold to fill the gap the gap that's been left here. But ideally, the target is 1864. So since it's here from where it is, then we still have another 400 and something pips. All right. But my only concern, and we won't know this until actually, we will know this in the next 22 minutes. If the wick of this candle closes above this H4 high, then I wouldn't be so poised to go for a long just yet. Okay, this is why I'm watching USD CHF, because it looks good right now. It's selling. It looks nice and stuff, but you know, you don't want to get trapped on the wrong side of this market. And then after you have yourself to blame for things that you don't want to be blamed for. But I do see that there is an M1 kind of move you can grab here that the price is doing. So I might put a second sell. I just want to check how much the risk is on that. And I might just stick to USD CHF. I guess at 2 o'clock, we might have a little bit of a pullback, but the price seems to be accumulating there nicely. Let me see something. I'm guessing most likely the price will probably come back to this green line. My stop loss will have to go right back above here. So how many pips is that for? Yeah, it depends. If my stop loss is at break even on this trade, then I can actually do that. So if I put a stop loss at break even here, then wouldn't be a big problem to have a look at taking another trade here. But I'll wait till 2 o'clock and see if there's a little bit of a pullback. Let's see here. All right, so with gold, I'm watching out. Where's the zone? It's a H1 zone. So once the price all we need it to do really is just to break us back above here and then continue if it's going to go for it. But we won't know that until 2, so we can't make any assumptions yet. But to me, it looks good for a short, really. And then after we can go there. And let me use the 5 minutes to double check something. Okay. So on the 5 minute, the version of this is a bit higher up. Let's see. There's 2 zones here. So number one here. I think it's too early to drag the stop losses to even. So I'm going to put it back to where it is. I don't think it's right to do just yet, because the price might spike a little bit, which will be good for another entry. Okay. You could either go aggressive now or wait till 2. From the H1, you have to remember that the price has just broken past TP. The TP is a 0.8964 0.89648. Yeah, 0.89648. No worries, bro. You're good. All right, so let's see what happens. We're going to have to wait until 2. So in the meantime, I'm just going to observe other things and see what's going on with those. All right. Silver now has broken past this H1 area. So that is a good trade we could go for on the long side of things. Potentially here. Let me just check something. Probably a slight pullback. Let me see. 256. 255. It's done what I want, but not how I wanted it to do, so I'm not going to touch that. Okay, UK oil and US oil. Leave those alone for now. All right. I need to find a chart that I can replace. Okay, I place it here. All right, so pound USD is still powering long from where it got to, still pushing quite strongly long. So we already know what USD CHF is doing. Euro USD is pushing long. Okay. USD Japanese yen is pushed short. USD CAD. USD CAD I'm upset about because I was in this trade, but I think the spiking really did get to me. I won't even lie. I closed it. I wish I didn't, but it's okay. It happens. Let's see. Euro GBP. Pound Swiss franc. AUD CHF. Okay. AUD CAD. All right. So from here, there's not really much on the market. There was a good trade on NZD/USD, but the entry happened during Asia, so we couldn't go for that. All right, so we'll just keep our eyes peeled as well. We already have two. You only need two good trades to really make things work. This silver trade, I mean, it did return where it's supposed to return. I'll come back to it. It's just that, let me just double check. It's not a bad trade to take where it is silver. It's not really a bad trade to take. If we took it now, it's not gonna kill us. The price probably might push a bit lower than where it's supposed to. It might end up back in this demand zone one more time and spike down. But I think silver is worth the trade for a long, so I'm gonna go for it. I was waiting for this anyway. It's just that I want to go for it in one mind because I know where the price is gonna go. It needs to get all the way back up to this target here. But then at the same time, I'd rather just leave room for silver to do what it's doing. As you can see, gold is starting to hang around this H4 high, so I don't want to get excited just yet. Just in case gold does something a bit funny. And then USD CHF here. Let's see, it's accumulating here, so sooner or later there's going to be another sell. I guess the price is building up the momentum to go short, so sooner or later it's going to start making its way down. I mean, either way you swing this, even if the price was to do a full pullback now at 2, let's just double check the needs to see. Let me go to FX Street in the meantime. I'm only going to stick to these pairs, guys, because I think these ones are the best, to be fair. Gold, I mean, the opposite pair correlation does help, because if gold, I mean, if this US dollar dominated market continues as it is, then gold should go long and USD CHF would go short. That's just the best part about it. So we don't even need all the others. Now, I did call this trade here. So if you want to take it, the price has broken beneath and returned right now. So you should be on a long there, but I'm not going to bother going for UK oil and stuff right now. I'd rather just trade what I like. And these are the ones I really like at the moment. I'll put silver here. Yeah, Doge is doing what it needs to do. Let's double check something here. All right, so I can close some of these because I have too many open. Way too many open. Clean that too. Clean that off. Clean your USD off because I'm not using that. Just kind of cleaning my palette a little bit. Let's see if there's anything else. I'm going to scan through one more time. Okay. So scanning through one more time. As I said, the 2 o'clock pullback is what I'm expecting to happen. So don't be surprised if the price pulls back. If you go in aggressively and you manage your risk, it doesn't really matter. I still believe the price is going short, but you have to be aware that the price sometimes, when it does these massive drops, it does these things where it'll pull back many times to kind of throw you off before it does the real move. So if that's happened, don't be offended. That's how the price action is. If it was that easy for everybody to just, capture a full trade that's just, plummeting down, then it will be much more easier. So, sometimes these things can happen. All right. So I'm watching, still watching. The price is above the H4 high here. Let's see. CHF. Okay, so you see what I mean why I said to wait, guys? You see what USD CHF has done? So USD CHF has already reversed all the way back close to my entry already. That's why I said I can tell that it's not time to drag the stop losses to even. So never just base your trading, or never base your trades when you see something to just go aggressive straight away, because you could get stopped out. Because in a case like this, you could easily get stopped out, possibly. And if I see the price going a bit too drastically away, now the risk I have is quite small, so it's not going to bother me to get stopped out. I did that. I made sure that the risk is small enough. It's big enough for me to make something from it, but it's not big enough for me to go crazy over and have to stare at the chart. That's something I didn't want to do. All right. So I'm just gonna hang in here and wait till 2 o'clock, because you can see how quick a reversal can happen. The market's wicked like that and does things like this all the time. I think I've got quite accustomed to how they behave. They do these kind of things all the time just to throw you off. And this is why I said with silver, I'm not going to take it yet, because They're just the same every time. That's their style. Get you to be confused and angry, and then after they do the move when you're not looking. Now, really, there is another entry here again that we could take, to be honest. It is a good entry, but I'm just going to give it a little bit more of a time just to see what the price does. I'm at break even at the moment. I'm glad you guys get to see this live so you can see how I'm thinking. That's why I never try to load up on entries too early, because I don't trust the market. But I do think it's going to come up. This 1 minute area is probably going to be touched up again by the market. And it may even spike a little bit higher than that. So be prepared for that. I mean, I did want to take another entry anyway. So I might end up taking another one. Let me just see something with gold, then I'll know what I'm doing. Okay, not just yet. Not just yet. Okay. Let's see. We'll wait a little bit. I don't even mind taking an entry past this small little zone down here where the price accumulated. But as you see, the accumulation here lets you know what the sneaky stuff the price is trying to do here. So let's just see what happens. This is more turned into a live trading session instead of an analysis session. But do you see what I mean about market times, guys? I hope you guys can see what I mean in more detail, that the market is very specific with how it behaves. It's never going to let you have an easy ride. But at the same time, if you wait a little bit, it always gives you these nice opportunities where, you know what, I think this is all right for a sell. I don't mind taking that risk. It's not that large of a risk at all. So I'm going to put my first stop loss here. And I'll put my second one here. I'm sure the price will push up a little bit more, but just waiting a little bit longer sometimes really does help. Of course, if the risk gets to a certain amount, then of course I'm going to like adjust and stuff. But looking at it from here, I think that was just a nice return. So hopefully at 2 o'clock, the price should start to come down again and do what it needs to do. So I'm going to leave that. And let's just focus on gold now. So with gold, guys, I see an M5 entry that might be simple to use. So once the price settles a bit, if we get this M5 entry, then all we need to do is just wait for a break above this 5-minute zone, because that's the capping of supply right now for the price. The only reason why the price hasn't broke past here is because of this little small area. So I've got an alarm here. As soon as the price goes off from here, then I'm going to buy, stop loss goes somewhere beneath, and then I write it down. Okay. And then there we go. Now USD CHF and gold don't have the fullest relationship completely. Oh, made myself really big there. But they do have a relationship that is quite it depends on how things go. But you can see, just watch the price to see how it behaves. I'm not getting excited yet. Once the price is kind of far out of reach, then I'll be happy. And at least then that second entry will give us a bit more joy. So let's put this here. Second target, second TP is here. So I want to see the price doing this. Now, this might happen over Thursday and Friday. I'm hoping it just happens today. If I be really real with you guys, I will never lie and say that I don't want it to just happen right now. So don't get it wrong. I do. It's just that we don't know because of FX Street News. Well, when we look at the FX Street News, we'll know what we're doing. All right. So let me just quickly switch over to the news for us to have a look and see. All right. So switching screen now. Here we go. So the FX Street News, according to what we have here, the GDP has come out worse than expected, which is bearish for the dollar short term. Now we know because of the tapering that we've had, the US dollar will see, strength over time. But for now, we should be bearish for the short term, and this bearish pressure should push the price just to fill the gaps out. This is why I want to kind of take a chance on gold and go for a long. On Friday, we do have the US news, but there isn't any high impact news. All of them are medium impact. So I'm hoping that a lot of the work on the price action today will be done today. The GDP news was kind of like the last heavy news. So, what we have, the consensus is worse than expected, but the previous result, and this is important, was 6.4%. So in Q2 of 2020, so we're talking about the period of March into from March up to June, okay, well, not June itself, but basically March, April, and May. That's Q2. In that second quarter, the GDP is actually 0.1% higher, but because it's such a small change between 2020 to 2021, this is why the Federal Reserve is saying that they're still in a stage of maintenance of the economy. They're not trying to increase interest rates just yet. They're trying to keep things steady to allow there to be recovery. Because of the COVID situation, there's uncertainty. And this is it. So for, everything compared to last year in the US, a lot more things have opened up. But the fact that the GDP has only increased by 0.1% is not a good sign for the short term anyway. So this is why I would say to you guys that this short should play out as it should. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled, guys. We should see the short happen, but once it fans out, then we should go back to the long. I always tell you that the fundamental news is just a way for them. I use it just to time when the market is going to do technical moves we already knew that were going to happen, if that makes sense. So tomorrow, the only high impact news we have is coming from the euro. I'm trying to stay clear from the euro. I don't really like trading it at the moment. I'm not really liking the pairs that much. So I think I'll be staying away from it for now. But despite that, we do have some good opportunities coming along. So yeah, guys, we'll keep our eyes peeled on there. I'm going to come back to the charts here. Let's have an update on USD CHF. What is it doing? So it is selling off. It's not 2 o'clock yet, but we should be seeing a sell-off. All right, gold is starting to push along. All I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go for a very simple entry. Let me get my risk management tool out. I'm not going for something heavy on this account, but I'm just going to go for a 0.05 most likely and just put my stop loss now. I just want to map out a safe place for the stop loss. Since the price is aggregating there, I just want to observe why it's aggregating there before I make a movement. Yeah, but again, the thing is that this zone is an hourly zone, not a 5-minute zone. So taking the trade as it is a risk, because on the hour, if it doesn't close as we want, then you might get ourselves in trouble. But to looking at this again, I do see that the concentration of price action is here. So this is the 5-minute cap on price. As soon as we break above and continue, then I'm going to be in. Okay, now beware that gold could spike. Okay, I'm not going to bother taking silver. I prefer to take gold in this case. 0.05 is all I really need, and I think that'll be good enough to get the job done. And I think that's it really, guys. There's nothing else really for the week. I mean, I will do crypto analysis later on, but for now, cryptos are quite still in price. We're in a very interesting place with those. So I would say, to leave it as it is. If you've taken USD CHF live with us, enjoy the profits, and then the rest is history. Okay, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this session, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.